everybody. I am pleased to announce that I finished all the prompts for the short story readathon. So that is what I am going to be talking about today. So hello, my name is Talia. I am so happy you are here today. Today I'm going to be discussing the short story readathon that took place during the month of May. I'm pretty proud of myself because when I started, I was thinking I'd maybe do like 4 or 5 of the prompts, and I completed all of them. So there was this bingo card, I don't know if you can see it, but a star means I read a story in the category, so I read all of them. And this readathon was hosted by Chantel Reads All Day, Mitzi Reads and Writes, and What Brings Karina Joy. So I will link all their channels below. And it's not too late to participate if you want to print one of these cards. It's still available for you to do short story readathon at a later time because it was really fun. I had not read a lot of short stories, and I just felt like this was such a fun way to get exposed to a bunch of different genres, a bunch of different authors. It was really enjoyable. Overall, I will say that I like long stories better than short stories. I feel like with the short stories, the ones I really liked, I was like, oh, I just want more. And it was hard to like have such a short snippet of something and have it be super impactful. But it was kind of good. Like the ones I didn't like, it was kind of like, all right, at least they're over quickly, you know? There was no DNFing a short story because I was like, well, I can push through anything that's short. So I'm not going to go through every prompt and every story because I feel like that would be pretty boring. But I'm going to list below every story and the prompts, and then I'll put a star by the ones that I really liked. And then today I'm just going to kind of go through the ones that were impactful, the ones that I liked, ones I didn't like, a couple surprises I had along the journey. So let's get going. So first I will say I was super surprised because my favorite short story that I read was the one that I picked for Gothic/horror. And that was the category I was most concerned about because I'm not really usually a Gothic horror type of person. But I picked, so The Black Cat by Edgar Allan Poe, and it was in Classic American Short Stories. And I just really liked it. This video is probably going to have some spoilers because I don't really know how to talk about short stories without spoiling it because they're so short and like, I don't know, it just is. So if you don't want spoilers on short stories, this might not be for you. I feel like you can probably still read a short story after it's spoiled for you, but that's up to you. So it's this guy writing basically his confession of things that took place, and we know that he is sentenced to die because he says at the very beginning, like, I'm confessing because I'm scheduled to die tomorrow and I have to get this off my chest. And he basically talks about how he had this like black cat and he was overcome with anger one day, so he killed it. And then this other cat comes into his life. Like, I can't remember if his wife got it for him or if this cat just showed up and they decided to keep it. He gets this other cat that kind of makes him feel uncomfortable because of how the way the other cat ended. And then he ends up like, this guy is like overcome with anger again at one point, and he ends up murdering his wife and like burying her in the walls of his house and being like so happy that he got away with it. And then like that he's like a suspect like of the murder, and the police are coming around trying to investigate, and he's like, no, like I don't know where she went, she's just gone, and they can't find any evidence everywhere because she's like all walled up. And then one day like they come to investigate again, and there's like this howling, screeching from where he buried her, so they like go and dig down the walls, and like this other cat is like buried in with her. And like, so they discover the body because the cat like it gave him away. So it was like this cat had revenge for the first cat, or was it the same cat just like brought back to life? Who knows? But I just thought it was so well done. It was so creepy. And like, and again, it like wasn't super scary, but it was just really good. I really liked it. So I don't know if it technically qualifies as horror, honestly, because it wasn't super scary, but I think that's more the genre that it fits into than anyone else. And I really liked it. My other favorite was the one I picked for nature, and I don't have the book it was in anymore because the library wanted it back, but it was By the River by hang on, I have it written down, by Joyce Carol Oates. And this one was actually really creepy as well, but I really liked it. It was like this daughter who was coming home, and it was kind of her point of view for like, she explains how she had like run away from her husband because she was overwhelmed and she wanted to be with this other guy. And right off the bat, you don't like her because you're like, ooh, like that's a terrible thing to do. But now she like feels bad and wants to go home to her husband. So she's going to this, I think she's getting picked up at the bus stop by her father, and she's just talking about how happy she is because her father's picking her up, and her father picks her up and they're like driving home, and she's kind of talking to him and he's been kind of short with her and like, why isn't mom here? Why isn't like, you know, is everyone happy I'm coming back? And he's just kind of short with her, and then you start getting like these weird vibes and you're just kind of like, what's going on? And she's like trying to push her dad and he's like not happy with her, and then he like makes her get out by the river and she's like, okay, I guess we'll go for a walk here, and then he kills her. So again, I don't know why this brought me so much joy. I think because it like, she was so annoying and like so whiny, and they made you like her in like such a short period of time that like when you kind of start thinking, oh, is her father gonna just like put her out of her misery? Like, you're like, oh, I kind of want that to happen. And then it does, and you're like, excellent. Like, that was an excellent short story. So those were my two favorites. I'm not sure what that says about me. I think it says maybe I need to start reading some darker books. Because you guys know I've been like middle grade fantasy lately. I don't know, maybe I need to go a little deeper, but those were my two favorites. Okay, so Oscar Wilde, I really enjoyed the stories that I read of him too. I read, so The Importance of Being Earnest was the play that I read. I thought it was very funny. It's like these two gentlemen who are both pretending to be someone that they are not in order to win a female's attention. And it was just really funny. And then they get caught and they're trying to like figure out how to get themselves out of sticky situations. It was just not what I was expecting at all. It was really funny, a really cute read. And then out of Oscar Wilde's complete short fiction, I read The Happy Prince and The Selfish Giant. Both of those were really good, really well written. Just like one was allegory. They actually both ended up being allegories, but just writing a story that you could relate to, but also that taught you deeper lessons about being selfless and patient. And The Selfish Giant has like a direct correlation to Christ in it, which I thought was neat. And yeah, it was just, that was pretty enjoyable as well. This is the only short story book I actually owned that I did not get from the library. And I actually was kind of disappointed because I read 4 stories out of here, and 3 of them were like, okay. One I liked. I feel like in general, mysteries just need to be longer because it's hard to really get much accomplished in a short story mystery. It's kind of like, here's the characters, what's the mystery? Oh, we solved it, okay, done. It was just like too fast for me. But The Theft of the Royal Ruby was actually the longest of the short stories I read of here, and I really liked it. There's like, it's a Poirot short story, and Poirot is convinced to go to this house to stay with these people to try to find this ruby that has been stolen. And he's trying to kind of figure out who stole these rubies and how to get them back. And it was cool because even though it was a short story, there was like a couple twists in it. Like it seemed like it was gonna go directly one way and then it twisted a couple times. So it was neat because it was like a full novel packed into just a short period of time, which the other short stories I read in here, I felt like it was just kind of like too short and choppy, if that makes sense. So that was that one. This was fun. Straw into Gold, Fairy Tales Respun. So I read a retelling and a fairy tale out of here. The Cinderella one in particular, I really liked. The Roses Around the Palace. It just had Cinderella a different point of view. This, the guy who comes to who shines the prince's shoes from the palace, comes to Cinderella, and over the years they are like friends, and he ends up being the one who kind of helps her get the invitation into the palace, and it was just a cute retelling. It just added like another layer to the classic story of Cinderella. So that was fun too. Okay, I was really excited about this. Naomi Novik has a book of short stories, and I was sad because the first one I read was for the fantasy category, and I did not really enjoy it. But I ended up reading another for the 2000 story written in the year 2000 prompt, or like in the 2000s, in this century, because I was going to read one from the other book that I had to take back to the library before I wanted to. So I read another in here and I really liked it. So Golden Age, the title story, was the run I read out of here, and I thought it was really well written. And it was focused around the characters in her biggest series, which I think it's called Temeraire. I don't know if that's how you pronounce the name, but a short story based on those characters, and I really enjoyed it. So I will definitely be picking up that series at some point. So overall, lots of good stuff happening. The worst story I read was in the book of my favorite story, the one that had the Edgar Allan Poe in it. So for the weather category, William Faulkner's Dry September, this was a horrible story. It was like, just had nothing positive about it. It was like, so there's this black man accused of causing harm. I think it insinuated like rape or some sort of molestation or something, to this white woman, but there's no proof or anything, and the whole town's like going out to get him, and there's like one barber trying to like stand up for him, and everyone's just like no, and then they use the N-word a lot, and then they kind of just like cut away from that, and it goes to the woman, and she's kind of just like crazy, having this breakdown, and then it cuts away to one of the men that was accusing him, and he's like, I can't remember if he was beating his wife or being just like super aggressive to his wife, and then it ends. It was terrible. Like, I was just like, I don't understand like even what the point of it was. Like, just to be like really depressing, it seems. I don't know, because even stories like, I don't know what the point was. If you've read the story and I like missed something big, like maybe, I mean, William Faulkner is like a really popular writer, and maybe I just missed like the theme entirely. I just thought this story was pretty offensive, and I never want to read anything by him ever again. There you go. Okay, biggest surprises. So I got this book from the library. So I started this project, just picked out a whole bunch of random books for the library to try to find the prompts and fill them in. And one of the ones that I picked was like, hey, we need something translated. We need something from another country. So I was like, great, Japanese short stories. This will be wonderful. So the problem with this is that it was written pretty much in Japanese. So I don't know about you, but it's really hard for me to read. And it is translated over here, but it's only like the most complicated phrases that are translated. So I read this via the translations, but it did not make a lot of sense. I know there was a bear, and he was talking and walking, and I think there was a picnic by a river. That's about it. So sorry. I don't know. That's all I can say about this. And there's a whole bunch in here, like in the writing scene, and even the book is like this is the front of the book, so it's in the standard like Japanese writing format, and you read from this page to this page. So it was neat and interesting. I just thought it was going to be translated a little bit more than that. Another surprise I had was, so for adapted to screen, I picked The Rookie, which is in the baseball short stories book, because I was like, oh, there's a movie about the rookie that was out a while ago, who's like this older baseball player trying to come play in the majors. This just didn't follow it really at all. So I don't know if that movie was just based on something else, or what. I probably could research and figure it out. But this was like, it was still an older guy that gets his break in the majors, but he was a batter instead of a pitcher. And then it ends up being like him just not doing well and being really sad. So that was surprising as well. Overall, I was kind of disappointed with this one as well. I didn't love most of the stories I read out of here. And again, it's like, it was kind of picking and choosing and trying to fit titles, so there may be some great stuff in here as well. I wasn't super happy with what I read out of there. So yeah, those are the ones I feel worth mentioning today. There was quite a few others I read that just didn't make an impact or not a big enough impact to go into at this point of time. But overall, it was a super fun challenge. It pushed me beyond my limits, and I made some fun discoveries. Like, I love Edgar Allan Poe. I need to find more of that right away. So yeah, that challenge is done, wrapped up. I have a couple more books I'm wrapping up this month, and then some fun things planned for June. So I'll be doing a TBR video pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. I hope you are doing well wherever you are. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch my video today. And go take some time yourself to read a good book or two. And if you are having a bad hair day, just wear a bandana. Bye.